Okay, I am recording this targeted individual video because it is something that the monarch controllers, whatever you want to call them, have wanted me to do. They basically taken over my life for about 10 years, destroyed it, made me financially destroyed, socially isolated, in order that I come on the internet and tell everybody about targeted individuals. I'm basically a full-time targeted individual. There was a TI in Toronto filming a gang stalker who identified himself as Tony Frank, and this gang stalker named Tony Frank told the TI that Tony Frank used to be a targeted individual and that his whole family was targeted in the 90s, with his sister sadly killing herself. And he told the TI that he wanted him to film Tony Frank and put him on the internet and gang stalking this TI. In this video, I'm going to get into a little bit about some reasons that I believe are motivations for gang stalkers. But before I do that, I'll talk a little bit about the fact that there's a satellite system. If you don't know, there's a satellite system which can read people's minds and has been recording people's minds for decades. And they have basically decoded the brain, and they're recording everyone's thoughts and activities, and they are using dream simulations to input thoughts into people's heads. They have a voice-to-skull technology, and they can also input thoughts into your head that sound like your own thoughts, but they are synthetically created, and then your brain is a transceiver, so you get electronically stimulated, and they send thoughts into your head. And this system is being utilized to communicate with a paramilitary force that's run out of the fusion centers, apparently. That's what whistleblowers have said. And these fusion centers harass and send out these paramilitary citizen army groups that are called gang stalkers. And a little bit about what motivates a gang stalker and my thinking, what I think is motivating gang stalkers. I believe there's like 6 or 7 motivations. The first motivation is it's just sadism. People are sadistic and they think it's funny to harass other people or play games with other people or whatever. Another motivation is that it's a job, so people get paid or they receive some sort of benefit, some sort of duty that they have to do working for the government or a corporation or something. Third motivation is ideological motivation or political motivation. These can be either collectivists or anti-communists. For the collectivists, they see it as symbolic notion to destroy an individual and make the individual submit to the collective and the hive mind that they call it, and to control you. For the anti-communists, they're harassing you so that you go out and talk about the ills of government, and you talk about the ills of socialism or communism, or and they usually are decided you are some pinko or you are some communist sympathizer that they are going to teach a lesson to. There's religious motivation. For some people, they are Christians and they see you as some sort of demon or antichrist, that they are some sort of demon or antichrist that they have to control or subdue for their God's authority. They sacrifice you for their God's authority, just it's like playing out some version of Jesus Christ Superstar, for all TIs that to get mutilated or whatnot with directed energy weapons and gang stalking and harassment, and it's like a big game to people. Or, there's also like ancient wisdom schools apparently that used to take people to the brink of death, or they would induce near-death experiences so that the people would become initiates of the school of wisdom. This could be something that's happening with the targeted individual program, with the paralyzation attacks that they can do with the directed energy weapons, or with heart attacks or strokes that they can induce with these weapons. I'll probably get into that a little bit in another video, the things that they've done to me. Another reason for targeting could be, for some people, they think like it actually enhances your life or something. Like, like your life you cannot be an arbiter of your own life, and that they're controlling you and dictating and modifying your behavior which is actually a euphemism, which I'll get into in a minute. They're modifying your behavior so that they can control your behavior and make your life better. These people think that they enhance your life or whatever. Like your life was boring before, and now it's super exciting because you have all these people following you and playing games in the media, because you get media feedback. You get celebrities following you and playing all kinds of schizophrenic games or whatever with you. Another motivation would be the religious motivation. As I said before, back to the religious motivation, satanic motivation. This is documented with Michael Aquino in his paper called The Mind Wars, in which he talked about mind control. He worked for the armed forces, and so there is satanic involvement, and Ted Gunderson has identified satanic involvement through his investigations with his private investigative company and during his time while he was at the FBI. I have basically been blacklisted. I was like talking about how I'm financially destitute or socially isolated, forced to live with my family and my parents because I've applied to jobs, and I've received, when I go to the interviews, I get the interviewers giving me gang stalking gestures. One of the things they do is they push their nose up at me to say I'm a pig or some psychological warfare. They scratch their nose to say they're in a brotherhood, and then they'll ask me pointed questions or be rude to me in the interview, and then let me know they're gang stalking me, and they want me to tell the world about it. And another thing that takes place, I got offered one job, and it was a job, but it was a weird kind of job for selling phones, or not selling phones, but like signing people up, low-income people for phones. It was Obama era program, but it's kind of like a pyramid scheme, and this guy worked for the Air Force who interviewed me, and I felt like he maybe had a psychological profile on me when I went to the interview, and he was telling me how I could bring all these people under me, and then I could take their money, and he had worked for the Air Force for nightclubs, and it was just really weird, and I got a weird vibe from it, so I decided I didn't want to do it. And the profile that, the suspicion they have a profile on you when you go to a job interview, I had basically, in my last job that I had, which was 10 years ago, I was disabled for a long time because of the voice to skull and the directed energy weapons. There was a point where I didn't even ever leave my house, and I was totally debilitated by voice to skull technology, which was going 24/7 and driving me insane. And so I didn't work for a number of years. I recently tried to apply to work, and then I periodically through that time I was applying for work and getting rejected, and but my previous job was I'll get into this in probably another video where I'll discuss, how they had a psychological profile on me. They spied on me at a job that I had at this place called the New Children's Museum, and then this lady recruited me, and her mom had worked for the Pentagon to work at She recruited me to work at Habitat for Humanity, and I decided to go there because I wanted to find out why I was being spied on, and I didn't know that they were reading my mind at this time. They had not revealed this to me. That was revealed a few years later, which I'll get into. Basically, for 10 years, it's been a very intense gang stalking and remote neural monitoring, which is the name for mind control and mind reading. And but they had a profile on me. They knew that I was interested in certain political, human rights, and housing rights, and I was interested in the Guatemalan genocide, which I'll get into maybe in another video. But in this one, I wanted to talk about motivations for the gang stalking program, the targeted individual program. They, like I say, they want me to become like an agent of influence, and they want me to basically full-time TI, go on the internet, I talk about targeted individual program. They want me to reveal my story, and I don't know why they want me to make this video, but they do. I think I'm about done right now. Okay.